Hi, everybody. You're tuned in to Where Waters Meet, a podcast featuring discussions on fly fishing, art, all things outdoors with a conservation focus. All right. I'm Alex Poland. I got Johnny here with us.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
I'm going to expect that every time I walk into a room now.
there we go. All right, guys, it's episode 2, Where Waters Meet. We're here again at Western Maine Yurts in the gallery, and I've been excited for this episode. And we're going to get into who Johnny is a little bit. We're going to do an on the vise discussion about a fly pattern, which we will reveal later. And some gear reviews, and then some of the stuff that we're doing here on our local waters that we're pretty pumped and excited about. So yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Excited about it.
Yeah. We're going to do a lot. We're going to see more and more of you, I hope. And, maybe we'll get another mic or something so we can do like 3 people or another camera, but we're experimenting, people. This is brand new. It's a brand new set. We kind of are seeing how we frame ourselves here, but we're in the thick of it now. So
Yes, you are.
So I've known John. I don't even know how long it's been. It's been quite a while. We started fly fishing close to the same time and kind of met through my brother-in-law, and we just kind of have hit it off, and we fish all the time together now. And John's a registered Maine guide. He's a Alaskan guide, and he guides for Alaska Rainbow Adventures.
Yeah, Alaska Rainbow Adventures.
Yep. And so he spends a portion of his summers up there and loves guiding clients for salmon and rainbow trout and grayling and dollies and
all of it.
Yeah.
We've got them all.
Yeah. And what rivers is it that you primarily guide on up there?
Bristol Bay region. We do the Good News River. Is my favorite. Is what I guide most. We also do the Aralic, the Connectoc, and there's other by request rivers that we do. Moraine Creek is one that comes up kind of often that people want to go for those trophy rainbows.
And I haven't gotten up there yet, and he lets me know it every single year when he goes up there, and we got to remedy that at some point.
We do. We'll get you in a boat. We'll definitely get you in a boat.
So we'll get into a little bit more about Johnny and kind of what we do together, and you'll get probably a little bit of a better picture of him a little bit later in the show. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick intro, and we're gonna probably switch gears here and go to on the vise. And Johnny tied some flies here. He's got some Hornbergs, and I'll let him talk about those a little bit.
Well, Alex, I'm pretty sure he'll agree with me. The Hornberg is probably one of my most prolific flies that I fish, and I typically don't fish it. Well, should I get it how I fish it, or?
Let's go through first a little bit about it, and then we'll go into maybe how we tie it, and then let's go into how we fish it.
Okay. I believe it was originally designed in the 1920s by a Wisconsin game warden. I think Frank Hornberg, I believe his name was. And I think it was basically tied as a caddis imitation. And not too much has changed, I believe, from the traditional pattern. I believe in Wisconsin, I think they lacquered the wood duck, not wood duck,
mallard.
Mallard. Sorry, and I think it was a little less hackled than I tie them, and it was tied with the main body was tinsel, and then I believe he used some sort of yellow hen hackle instead of the calf tail that is mostly used today. And, and not a lot of it has changed. It got into catalogs, I believe, and that's how it migrated over to the Northeast. It's a pretty traditional Northeast pattern now. A lot of the old timers love it. And you know, I'd like to see more of it because it is a deadly pattern.
It is. It is. I mean, and I love it. I mean, I was introduced to it by an old timer that was like, "Oh, you ought to fish this in like a small stream because you can, fish it as a dry fly and grease it up if you want to, or you can fish it as a streamer. We fish it a lot as a streamer.
Yes.
And I tie it in a ton of different variations, like this one here, which we'll show a video of a little bit of a close up of this when we edit, but. This one's tied with like a tinsel body, and I tie them that way a lot. But I've also tied them in the past with different colored wire, and I wrap the body with that, and it gives it a little bit more weight if I am fishing it wet. And I also have run ice dub under my hackle wraps, which gives it a little bit of sparkle kind of at the head as well. And I've done tinsel down the sides of them, and there's a million ways to do it. This is the coloration that I typically like to fish on my local waters, and I like to use a grizzly hackle for the head. But like here, this one has a ginger hackle for the head, which is nice as well. And I mean, I've seen them in every color that you can imagine at local fly shops, like even bright red and orange and yellow.
Yeah, definitely. I don't get too complicated in mine because, like last night I tied 2 dozen of these because I go through them a lot.
Yeah.
And it's I'd say it's an intermediate fly tie, but I mean, you can dumb it down. Like
it's a great fly for people to learn how to wrap hackle.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to tie in Adams, like down the road, like dry, like this would be a great segue fly where you actually get to wrap your hackle without matting it up over each other and, having it, lay in there well. I like this color too as well, but I fish it primarily, not unless I'm fishing small streams and, I'm doing a upstream, let it float like a dry, kind of sink it and let it swing below me. I usually fish this on a sink tip or even a full sinking line in our large rivers. And it's a great fly to have a trailer behind. I know we both do that a lot.
Yeah, I'm almost exclusively fish this on a sinking line. Should we get our terminology straight on 16 line? Sinking lines. I 25-foot head is what I typically use. I have some smaller ones, like 15-foot head, which actually this works great swinging on it.
You're typically fishing like a 6 to 8 inch per second sink rate, like very fast sink rate. Fast sink. But we also fish pretty fast water too.
Yeah. And if you're moving if you're moving a sinking line, it's not sinking.
Yeah.
It's staying static at the level you're moving at.
Yeah. And I think that this fly does really well when it rises in the water column too.
Yes.
Which, that's the nice thing with a sinking line is you can get that down low in the water column quick. And then if you know where fish are, you can let that rise kind of in front of their face. And, we fish different sizes. A lot of times I think this is really imitating a small bait fish.
Oh, definitely.
But if you go small enough, there's times where caddis hatches, which we have some pretty epic caddis hatches around here in our rivers that we fish, I definitely would say are more caddis heavy than say maize and stuff. Yeah. Like
there's caddis in everything we fish.
There is. Yeah. And so yeah, you can have some aggressive takes and it's a lot of fun to fish.
And we're not like out west. We don't have prolific hatches of salmon flies or mayflies. We've got a little sprinkle of everything.
We do. You don't know what's going to happen any given day. And, sometimes you got to make your own hatch.
Yeah. And the Hornberg can make it happen.
The joke that we always have is, boy, I don't know when the Hornbergs are going to start coming off. Do you?
Yep. Usually it's 7 o'clock to 6.
Yeah. The old Hornbergler hatch.
Yep.
But
and you say this, I fish tandem streamers a lot, and this is usually my last one, my tag, my follower, and I can't count how many fish this has caught. A lot of times they'll pass on the big streamer and take this guy, but you definitely fish it alone. It's a great standalone.
It is a great standalone
single
fly. And like Gretchen, my wife, I mean,
Yeah.
she loves fishing this fly.
Yep. It's easy to cast.
She pretty much could fish this fly all the
Yeah.
time and she'd be happy. And but she fishes this small streams and with a dry fly line, and you know, she'll get takes on top from small brook trout, and she'll get takes once it gets waterlogged and is down below. I like this fly, like John said, behind a streamer. And for whatever reason, you're getting that bite on this. I don't know, but it's amazing. But the other way that I like this, and I've taken a number of nice brown trout, is I'll fish this as my lead fly. And then I'll have, you know, a sparkle pupa. I've even run copper johns, pheasant tails, champagne caddis, any form of caddis that is in a previous stage of emergence from like this is somewhat of an adult. Like if you were fishing this in a caddis hatch, this would be a caddis that's pretty close to being ready to fly and hit the top of the water surface. And so if you fish something that is earlier in that stage behind it, I do really good. And you'll get out there and you'll be, sometimes you're getting them all on the Hornberg. Sometimes you're getting them all on, you know, the trailer. And then sometimes it's just 50-50. You're kind of getting them both. So it's, I don't know, it might be one of the most versatile patterns I think that we fish.
It really is. And the way you just described it is like, I fish it like that too. I'll cast out. I mainly fish for my drift boat. I'll put that caveat. I'll cast it out at a 45 and let that baby swing. And like you said, with a sparkle pupa or something at the end, hits the end and it starts rising up in that water column a little bit. And there's something about it. And what's great about it, if that doesn't work, you strip that baby back like a streamer. And
I mean, you can all on one cast. You can imitate different things in one cast, literally. I mean, like you can make it look like a small dace, you know, darting up the edge of a seam, you know, headed back towards the boat after you've come down to, you know, hang down at the very end of your swing. Or like John was saying, you know, letting it rise in the water column and swing it, you know, you're getting the caddis presentation at that point. So it's versatile. I've caught salmon, swinging those for salmon in the fall too. Like it's very versatile.
Yeah. And if I have a dry line rigged up, and I see a nice foam line, I really like this. That's about the only time I'll fish it as a dry. I'll fish it through some heavy foam. Yeah.
And this is a great size. I mean, this is I don't know what size hook you tied this on, but it looks like you're probably around a 14, maybe a 12. And
it's like a 2X long small streamer hook.
Yeah, but we fish these. I mean, I've tied these out so that they're even this big just for streamers alone. But this is definitely the most popular size for me, where you kind of grab everything, and it is. I think John fishes it probably behind streamers more than I do, and I have seen that be unbelievably effective. Yeah. My wife fishes it,
especially with clients.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say Gretchen probably fishes this when I have her in the boat standalone most of the time. Is, you know, less prone to tangle.
My wife too. She doesn't like to throw big heavy flies, and you and I tend to throw bigger stuff, heavier stuff, which the everyday caster not really used to throwing big heavy stuff, and anybody can throw that.
It definitely is not going to, you know, it's a lot easier than you know, big beadhead woolly bugger or something like that. It's kind of doesn't even really exist at the end of the line.
No, but because basically it's a big dry fly
that we fish as a streamer.
That we totally fish 98% as a streamer.
You're probably going to find there's a lot of things that we do fishing wise that might not be suggested.
Yeah. And I'm not a traditional fly fisher by any means. You know, you and I we're pretty close to the same style. We can fish every discipline.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a master at any discipline. But if I have my choice, I'm throwing streamers from my boat.
Yeah, me too. But I like to catch fish, and that's why. But I like
That's
to do
why
it.
we nymph
And that's why. Yeah, I mean, we'll nymph, we'll throw dries.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if we're out and we got a nice trout sticking his snout out and he's rising consistently, we're obviously going to swap over to dries. But if we just go out and you're kind of searching, our go to is definitely streamer fishing, and I think fishing from a drift boat, which we do most of the time, it's just you can cover more water that way. So
yeah, your opportunities just open up.
yeah. So
if you guys have not ever fished from a drift boat, hire a guide, get a buddy, do something, get in a boat. It'll totally open up new experiences for you in the world of fly fishing.
And I mean, it's just a great great place to be out in a boat on the river. It's a different experience of experiencing a river than standing in it, and wading is great too. But yeah, no, I definitely would second that. But we'll so the Hornberg though, there you guys go. Like I said, we'll give you a little bit of a video rundown so you can see a little bit closer up of that. But that's kind of our take on that fly on the vise. I mentioned in our previous episode 1, that we were going to do on the easel. I am going to be starting another painting this week, and next solo show that I do, we'll probably go through that. So we'll put a little pin in on the easel for today, but we're going to move into our gear review.
Exciting.
You guys are going to have to deal with me in this.
It just
stupid
doesn't
pack.
get old.
No, it doesn't. I got other ones on here too, so. All right.
Wow.
All right. I gotta ease up on the smart pads on this stupid thing. All right. So gear review. This is one that I think is probably very much needed. And John and I feel are, qualified to talk about this because our uses are so different with wading boots. Although they might align at times during the year, him going to Alaska and me doing my thing here on our local Maine rivers here in Bethel, 100% different. And so we want to get into the depths of wading boots, what's good, what's bad, what you might need, what you might not need. And so we're just going to get into it. We're going to put some boots right up here next to this beautiful bottle of Moxie that John is nursing.
My delicious Moxie.
That's the other Mainism for the day is Moxie. It does a body good.
It does.
I actually saw an antique bottle the other day that was a Moxie bottle, and it had its like slogan on it, and I can't even remember what it was, and it was hilarious. It was like Nerve Tonic or something.
I don't know, but there used to be like an old song. I don't remember the whole thing, but it's like all the girls think you're foxy when you chug-a-lug your Moxie and don't show the pain.
We're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look that up. I didn't know. Maybe
it could be an old Joe Parham thing too. I don't know.
Well, then we definitely need to find it.
We
Yeah,
should.
Joe Parham's a local
Main humorist, storyteller,
historian through comedy locally here.
Yes.
And I didn't know if the Nerve Tonic though was like, I didn't know if maybe they put cocaine in it like they used to like Coca-Cola.
I don't know what they put in it, but whew.
Yeah, it's good. It's got a strong licorice taste for those that are from out of Maine that don't really know what it is.
From away.
The Flatlanders, as we call them up here.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
With love in our heart.
that's right. So yeah, we better put some boots up on the table. Sure. So we got.
Okay. We've got an array of corkers here.
Yeah, we do.
This is a discontinued model. This is like the Corkers hatchback. And I don't know if you guys can see, but like this is just totally coming apart. She's seen some usage. I wouldn't say too many years on this. I believe the little clip for your waders, your gravel guard. It's gone on this. Basically, the whole thing's falling apart.
How many years do you think you use those?
2 seasons, maybe.
Okay.
Main seasons.
Yep.
I don't think these ones saw Alaska. This was an interesting design on this boot. So it's called the hatchback for a reason. You kind of go into it like a ski boot. There's no lacing up the front. You know, it was a good idea. I like the ease of taking these on and off with the BOA system. The main thing, other than them disintegrating on me, that I hated about these boots was the way they put together. When you walked on it, it squeaked.
You know what? Now that you say that, I remember those boots.
Oh, they squeak so bad.
Yeah. Squeak, squeak.
Yeah. So there's those. Let's just do. You want to do like a very
we can go through them all, and then we can
all, and then say like what we don't like, and
yeah. I'll go through this boot here. This is a discontinued boot too. I'm actually still using this boot. I'm on my second set of soles on it. And I will say a plus about Corkers is their sole system. If you aren't using them in John's, basically insane industrial construction grade guiding in Alaska. So here, I like it because rafts would be a big reason why I like it. So if you liked having studded soles, you can have those. They're interchangeable. They go on the bottom. But then if you had to get in a raft the next day, obviously you don't want to wear studded soles in the raft. So then you can put a rubber sole on. You can put a felt sole on. You can do whatever you want. So on local waters here, I use felt and I like it a lot. This one is the model on this, which is discontinued, was the Terror Ridge.
They've got good name. The next one is the Devil's Canyon.
The Devil's Canyon, and wasn't there the Dark Horse or something?
Yeah, there was one called the Dark Horse.
Yeah, they got some good names.
Yeah.
So this one though I got, and this is another thing that we will note about Corkers is that I got these because they were laced. I have not gotten BOA systems. I had a absolute nightmare with BOAs on a pair of snowboard boots. And my biggest fear is that I'm going to break them and I'm going to be on a trip that I am enjoying immensely. And literally it's going to ruin my day. It's going to ruin my trip. And if I snap a shoelace, I can tie a knot in it.
There's paracord everywhere.
Yeah, we're back going in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're good to go. And even like this boot, this has this heel lock system. And it was great in theory, and I liked it. It kind of kept you sealed to the back, and your foot didn't slosh around in the boot, so to speak. But that's broke already. So, but that being said, I've had these 3 seasons. Yep. But that being said, my use is not as heavy. So I wear these when I wade fish, and I wear them in my drift boat up until maybe my feet don't go numb. And then I'm a flip-flop guy. So I launch my boat in my flip-flops. I'm in my flip-flops all day in the boat. And then I take it out in my flip-flops. So these are my wading boots that I only wade with. I don't use them when I'm out guiding or I'm in my drift boat for the most part. Yeah. So
these are the Devil's Canyon. I think they still make these. And another Corkers boot again. These were marketed as their ultra lightweight wading boot, and they are. They're super lightweight. I could probably still have these in service. They're in my truck every now and then in case somebody needs an extra pair of boots. Alex has actually worn these, and he can attest to how awful these are to wear.
Okay, if you like rolling your ankle,
yes, then there is no ankle support in these. So in their quest for lightness, there's nothing in this. If you were 18, 19 years old with the rock hard ankles or whatever, you'll be able to pull this off. If you're anyway unsteady on your feet, you'll get killed in these things.
Or if you're a big boy.
And so Alex was talking about the BOA system. This actually has the BOA system on it still. So
Have you had the BOA system fail?
No.
No. Okay.
But I also was worried like you
Yeah.
were. And for both of these boots, I have the specific BOA replacement parts that's always in my gear bag that I have with me. And so,
You're a better planner than I.
and like Alex said, the corkers, this idea with a removable sole and everything, it's a great idea, especially. I mean, especially like he said, if you're in and out of drift boats, you see different terrain, and I'll agree with him. The felt, nothing sticks like felt.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's something that you can do and you're responsible about it and clean it, it's a great way to go. And I think the Soul system, like, what's great about it, in addition to just like the boat thing, is it depends on where you fish. So you might have a spot where you pull up, you park your vehicle, and you literally fish right there. You don't have to hike much. Well, that's great. But then there's times where you might decide that you're going to have a 2-3 mile hike, and felt is actually horrendous in the woods. Like if you walk through
or in the snow.
In the snow, yeah.
Snow, it's really bad.
Yeah, it like builds up and and like if you hit 6 inches of like leaves in the woods, I mean, I lost it on the Crooked River, and I rode all the way down to banking, tore my waders. It was a horrible experience, but it was because I had felt on. So you have the option of hiking in with rubber and bringing your felt with you,
and you lost your net.
That was another that was a whole other day.
That'll be a different story.
Actually, that might have been boot related too, because I did slip. I did slip on a swamp alder that was kind of like.
Oh, that wasn't the. There wasn't this. I thought it was the same boat.
No. I actually I had a pair of waders, and I slipped on the leaves, and it was like steep banking in a location that will remain undisclosed. And and I hit that, and it was like I was on a toboggan and I was a kid again. But I was trying to dodge trees. But back to the boots. Yes, I think that the Soul system is a plus for the typical user is the best thing that I would say. John's got another boot here, and he has a great story, an example of when you need something more than this.
Yep. Okay, so I was a fan. I still am a fan of the corkers. I like the idea. It doesn't work for me when I'm guiding in Alaska. So I think they're the newest and greatest. They came out a couple years ago. I bought them when they came out. River Ops, I believe, is the name of them. Mm-hmm. I bought them brand new. I got them at the beginning of the season. Headed up to Alaska. They were in a dumpster halfway through my season. They've redesigned the removable sole because they had problems with mud and stuff where you'd be walking and the sole would pull off. This happened to me so many times with their new system. It just became unbearable. I mean, so I have to hop in and out of my raft so much, and my guiding trip isn't a typical guiding trip. I don't take you out for 8 hours and we're done. I take you out for a week.
Yeah.
And we're living, eating, floating a river. There's no roads. There's no road systems. There's no way out. There's no way out except for that raft, or if there's a medical emergency, a Chinook helicopter. Or a float plane or something.
So I mean, like you live in your waders and boots.
I'm literally in waders and boots minimum 12 hours a day. Minimum.
It's a beautiful problem to have. It's a beautiful problem to have.
And they just didn't work for me. And not only that, I had several components on the boot itself break. Like Alex said, this. So on the River Ops, there's something similar. It's like a cam lock thing. On both boots, it broke. It snapped right off. It was like cast metal, and it broke. And so I was able on the river to get a text message to my wife, and I had her say, "Listen, I need some boots. Order me the Patagonia." I don't even remember.
Was that a thank Garmin InReach moment?
That was a thank Garmin InReach moment.
Yeah, so maybe that will be a gear review in the future.
Yes. And so I got these I believe they're called the foot tractors. And
that's what they look like. When I look at that, I think that looks like a foot tractor.
Feel how heavy that is. I mean, the boot is. I mean, you're like pick that up and you go like, oh man, this is gonna.
The good thing is
Did
like
I make a mistake?
The good thing in Alaska, if you could get this off quick enough, you could just beat a bear up with it. Yeah,
beat it. But it's so weird. Like they're heavy to hold.
Yeah,
they're light on the foot, and they're the most comfortable thing, and they're idiot proof. I've never worn a more comfortable wader boot. They're plastic. Their rubber sole is great. You've seen me wear these, and you know how I am on my feet.
John,
I am not graceful. I am not. My natural state is in the water. That's where I want to be. Is like face down in the water.
John has fallen into the river more times than probably all the other people that I have fished with combined.
Yeah.
Solely he's done that. So we should probably just have an episode of just times Johnny's fallen into the river.
Oh, there's great stories.
There's great stories. Money lost is, we got, but anyways.
So these are super grippy. It's the best rubber sole. And speaking of rubber soles, the Corker rubber sole is the worst rubber ever invented.
It is. It's like you got to have studs with their rubber. It's
and
like
luckily,
it's slick. It's like ice.
Every Corker comes with 2 pairs of soles, and you can pick what you want. But these have seen. This will probably be their 3rd season up in Alaska, and heavy usage.
Yeah,
and they're still super comfortable. I still get plenty of life on the tread. Danner makes these for Patagonia, so they're made in the USA boots, and
they aren't. The thing is they aren't flashy. They aren't flashy. But the thing of this is, it's like, you got the grommeted centers for your laces. Even if this grommet let loose, this boot's going to work great.
Yeah,
you're going to be fine. You know what I mean? So it's like this is a perfect example. And like the sole it's heavy, but you aren't going to get a more rugged sole than this. And this is a perfect example. If you can grab one of those, but. If you take any of these two, like, is this a bad boot? No, not for certain applications and situations. Is this a bad boot? Is this a good boot? Yeah, for certain situations, this is great. Would this be too heavy for some people who fly fish 5 to 10 times a year? Maybe they might opt for something lighter.
Well, I'm going to say, if you fish 5 to 10 times a year, you're not buying this boot unless you're a millionaire or a doctor or a lawyer. These are expensive. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. I want to say they're in the $400 range.
Yeah. It's an investment of a boot.
It is. But I do this for a living, and I'm out there all the time, and comfort and quality makes a difference.
Yeah.
Not having to fight with your gear is a big thing of mine. If I have something that doesn't work, it's going in the bin.
Well, and the problem too is when you're up there in the stinking tundra of Alaska, there's nobody there to help you out. You can't go to your local fly shop. It's like around here, if I bust up a boot, that's fine. I can go somewhere tonight and get another set of boots for tomorrow if I need to do that. But if you're like day one of a 7 to 10 day trip out there, what do? I mean, do you run around barefoot? I don't think so. So it can be a big problem. Like this boot though, like for me, this has served me well here. But like I said, I primarily float fish, and normally it's warm enough come mid-May that I wear flip-flops, and I like to float fish, so I find the time to do it wherever I can, and we do smallmouth trips through July and August, so like, I'm primarily in flip-flops.
Yeah, and me too. If I'm back home and I'm in my boat and I can wear flip-flops or chacos or whatever, that's what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Is especially even if I'm wet wading, I tend not to do the flip flops, but I got the Chaco sandals and
Yeah, and I this year actually, speaking of corkers and wet wading, like because that's a big thing. I'll wear these actually a lot of times with shorts, and I'll wear like wet wading, neoprene socks I put over the
me
top.
too. Me too.
But like I kind of want to check out. Have you seen their stealth sneaker?
Who?
Corker.
Oh yeah, yeah, I have.
Yeah, I like the idea of that because it's in between.
They have like the fish insoles.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right up my style.
It is.
Just ask my wife. I like
Flashy.
anything shiny.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Colors.
piece of candy.
So who knows? Maybe we'll review those at some point. But
Now, I like that we're doing this too. It's like Corkers obviously didn't send us these.
Yeah, we bought these.
We bought these and we've worn them. We've worn them, And I tell you what, if I just had a boot kicking around for home, I definitely use those just because of the versatility of them.
Yeah, for sure. And John's done a better job of keeping some of his that are trashed. This is actually my fourth set of corkers, and this is the longest life that I have gotten out of a set, though. Right here.
And so another thing, I've never tried to use Corker's warranty. I don't even know what it is.
I don't either.
Maybe it's a lifetime warranty. I don't know. I've never tried to use it.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know either. And like these here, I'll get a different set of boots for this summer. And like I said, I've done 3 years and I don't know. I mean, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine. I'll buy another set from Corker and support them. But I think that, like I said in the last episode, and we're still kind of trying to get through this, and this is our first time doing it, but we really kind of want to have reviews where we explain to you what our use is.
Yeah.
Because I hope that what you can do is garner and you can say, oh, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for, as opposed to we could come up here with a new flashy boot that's brand new and tell you that we like the stitching and the lace color and this looks cool on it. We could do that.
It goes on your feet.
You walk in it.
But I mean, if any of you guys are in a Patagonia outlet store and see those foot tractors for ridiculous sale, pick them up. They're worth it.
Yeah. Or start, donate a kidney, start selling some blood, do something, But all right. So gear review, we'll wrap that up. And hope that was useful for all of you guys.
Riveting.
Yeah.
Wader boots.
Wader boots. Yeah.
Bump, bump, bump. Do we have that? Do you have a bump?
No,
bump,
what do
bump?
I have? I think I know I have.
There you go.
I wanted a nice building bump up, not that was anticlimactic there. But anyways, all right. So we're gonna get into kind of the meat of the show where Johnny and I, or Johnny, we
oh hey man,
we talk a little bit about what we do. So John he guides out of the yurts here. So him and I are kind of the guides. And we're just doing the best that we can and having fun out here in Bethel, Maine. And we love the local waters that we're on. And I think that's kind of something that's connected the two of us because we have unique struggles here on the Androscoggin River. And but we love it.
I do. Yeah, we definitely love it. You'll be hard pressed to find a more beautiful river. I'll go out on a limb here, and not in just the state of Maine, but in New England in general. It truly is beautiful. It's like the gateway to the presidentials and White Mountains,
and it's just it's undammed. I measured it the other day. The section that we're on is undammed for a stretch. I measured it the other day, and we're kind of not in the middle, but we're along about a 45-mile stretch that is undammed, which in New England is
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, but the thing that we've been focusing on, which I think you've enjoyed it too. We both enjoyed it. Is the conservation end of things, and we've been working to collect data. Like I said, I'm part of the Sebago TU conservation group, and we've been working with the local biologists here, and John and we've been doing a lot of boots on the ground stuff.
Yeah, and I find it super enjoyable and rewarding, and I think we're both learning a lot.
Definitely. I think we definitely are. And it's been, just to like kind of recap what we have done just quickly. We started out the year by placing temp sensors.
Yep.
And that was kind of different, learning how to use really sticky underwater epoxy and all that. And so we had those out, and then we had to recover them in the cold.
Yep.
And we successfully submerged our arms into frigid water and did that.
Cold and wind. It was windy that day.
Yeah. But I guess Rob's going to get us Bluetooth ones so we can leave them in and just get the data next time. So we'll see how that goes. So, so we did that, and then I conducted some electroshocking with the state biologist while John was in Alaska, and then he did some electroshocking later when he got back.
Yep.
And so we surveyed. I would have to total up. I think it might be around 8 or 9 tributaries total that we did.
Yeah.
And, basically we're, trying to see what there is for wild fish that exist in the river system is what we're trying to see, so that we can make an informed, or we can have an informed discussion about further management of the river. And then we, in the spring, also did we did one float, and
the spring and fall. So 2 floats.
We did, and we had a little better luck rallying the troops in the spring, and we surveyed 159 trout. It was right around 160 trout with six drift boats, and they were filled with state biologists and fisheries workers.
Yep.
And so that's kind of like where we're at now, and we're looking to conduct more of that in 2025. And we're also going to do some stream tributary temp stuff and just some neat things, just so we got some information so that we can make informed decisions. And
I think a lot of stuff, especially in that river, they're working off a real limited data set. And so I think that's our main goal, is like to give them some actual numbers and give them a little bit more insight of where these fish are.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, because it's, a biologist can't go to bat without information. They need data.
Yeah, and I think I hope they got a little bit out of it, like how we're doing it versus how they did it in the past. Alex and I both have drift boats, and other members of the TU have rafts and stuff. And so we're actually able to cover some more places in the river, cover the river better.
Yeah.
Before, I believe they took their data sampling from canoes, and they'd stop where they could stop and fish where they could fish.
Yeah. We're able to fish water that's not necessarily fishable from any other kind of boat, because we can anchor in eddy lines and some actually pretty brisk water. But that's that's what we're doing. That's what we're looking to do more in 2025. And we would like to see our fishery up here be better than it currently is, and we aren't knocking it, and we aren't saying that it's bad. We love it, but could be better. It has been better in the past.
Yes,
and so that's where we're at. But I think the thing that is unique and that I appreciate about you up here on this river is that I don't see anybody else that really loves it that much. You know what I mean? Like, and I think we're kind of in the same boat with that. Where we love the river, we love the ecosystem, and we want what's best for it before anything else. And a lot of people kind of come and go, and they, it's you have a lot of big trout chasers that kind of run around the state too, and they go to all the hot spots and all the best places, and it's like,
we're not really one of them.
No. We don't fish for.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still on the quest for a 20-inch brown trout.
Yeah. In this river system.
Yeah. I mean, we are we fish for peace and solitude, though. We fish for peace and solitude, and that's what we like. And I can't tell you how much I love the river, and there's other rivers that I love too around here too that I kind of have an intimate relationship with, and it's interesting what you're willing to do though, as far as work and
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff when you do really love something.
Yeah, and you and I both have been putting a lot of work in on it, but it doesn't really seem like work. It's
Yeah.
you know, we're doing what we love, we're doing what we enjoy, and then we're doing some recordings that we never did before, which actually, you know, in the long run helps us so
It does.
tremendously,
Yeah.
because we have a really good log of what was caught where.
Yeah. And I didn't mention that too about the logbooks, because that's
Yeah.
we have been keeping logbooks when we're out there, and we've been very lazy about that and kind of like
Yeah, in the
past years. Yeah.
yeah. No, it's great, and it's kicked me off to keep not only my so we have logs that we turn into the biologists, and but it's kicked me off to keep my own personal log, and I've actually kept a little bit more data in my personal log for personal reference.
Yeah, it's been nice taking. I'll say one thing that even beyond the fish is that I learned more this year about temperature fluctuations than I had in previous times. Because what I would kind of do is I would go out and I'd take my stream temp reading, or I would be like, it's getting hot, and then I'd take it. And obviously we're pretty passionate about staying off the river when it gets too hot. And what was interesting was I was taking more stream temp readings, whether it be when I started in the morning, in the afternoon, and then when I got done. And it was interesting to see how weather, plus I was on the river more than I had been in previous times too. So like, I was able to see how weather patterns really change the river temperatures quickly. You know what I mean? Like you could have a spike where the river's 67 degrees, and if you have a cloudy day, you know, in the first week of June, you know, you're back down and it's 62. So that was
It was
a nice
also good with that because you and I don't know, fish, I don't know, about 15 miles apart in the different sections maybe. And I'd call you and say, hey, what you have for temp? And I'd be like, yeah, it's borderline now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it doesn't take very long
No, it
to
does
get there.
not take long.
Yeah. Like you get, if you get 3 or 4 days of hot weather in June, the river's going to start to cook.
Yeah.
You never know. You could have a rainy, cool, cloudy June, and you could trout fish all the way into July, or you could have a very dry, sunny, hot June, and you really should be off the river fishing for trout by second week of June.
Yep.
You really
and
don't
that's
know.
when the trout fishing just turns on.
It is. It's the weird. Yeah,
It
you're
is
right.
very weird.
It is very weird. Like the best hatches. I have a piece of property on the Andro. I'm very lucky to have that. So we spend as much time as we can there in our camper. And it's like the best caddis hatches are happening when the water is too hot.
Way too hot.
Too hot. And you're like, why?
Yep.
Come on.
Exactly. Nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the dilemma that we run into every year. And it's not, it really is not unique. There's been in the last 12 years or 10 years that I've been floating it. There was that one really wet summer. What was it? 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
And we had 66 to 68 degree water in July.
And we had flows, I want to say right around 3,000 the whole year.
Yeah. 3,000 was low.
That's true.
I mean, like that was at that time. I mean, I was fishing it in July at 5,000. It was crazy.
And what's your preferred? I would love to fish that at 25.
Yeah, I like it.
But it fishes good up to 4.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, I'm really good anywhere from 18 to 3 is pretty good. You know what I mean? But it's harder for wade fishermen. Most people like it when it's 1,500 because it's easy to wade everywhere. But
yeah, and another thing I noticed this year, 1,200 this year wasn't 1,200 the year before.
No.
There's been some really high water events that have really changed the bottom.
They did. Yeah, we had that December flooding that kind of devastated the area, and it just did really interesting and weird things to the river. There are some places where I would say that there's structure improvement. And then there's other places where there's complete degradation.
Yeah, it just
And
filled right in.
it did. And like what happened was we had these kind of like very long established channels. So, you know, the Androscoggin River is primarily, I think the average depth is less than 3 feet or around 3 feet in the stretch that we're in. Very shallow riffles with pool habitat runs. There's some decent runs, but you know, we had these channels that we could sneak through.
Yes.
And it was like, it would be like,
And you always could.
you always could. Yeah. Yeah. It was like a super thin riffle, but you'd have a little channel that you could sneak on the edge. And then what happened was this huge water event happened, and it just kind of equalized all those riffles out where those little channels just filled. And so, yeah, 1,200 is like what 900 would have been.
Yeah. It's rough. I mean,
It is if you get low. I mean, you can still get through, but
you still get through. I had to drag in my boat a couple times, which I don't really care about getting out of my boat dragging. I'll do it.
We'll see. Maybe they'll open back up here after some time. But the water events that we have keep getting a little bit more severe, you know, and you know the river's got challenges, you know what I mean? It does, and then you have
wider and shallower.
It's getting wider and shallower, and you have you know, structure improvements could make a big deal kind of at some of the tributaries, and the warm water aspect of things though is definitely an issue that probably shouldn't be ignored. And I know Maine, where we are, nobody's really gone down the route of like hoot owl like stuff or warm water closures or having closures at certain times a year. But I think that the body of water that we're on, hopefully,
I think
would like, with what we're collecting for data and helping out collecting for data, I hope that maybe it could be a poster child for that someday, because it's a definite struggle.
It's an option and something to look at. It would definitely benefit from that.
It would, because we have very nomadic fish here. It's a unique stretch of river that we have in that it is it's not a freestone stream. Obviously, there's many dams along it. However, the section that we're on has many of the common characteristics of a Western freestone stream, in that we see extreme, you know, spring runoff water levels.
Yeah, extreme.
And then we have extreme lows in the summer, you know, at times, and we see a large fluctuation of river temperatures. And we have a lot of cold water tributaries.
Yeah.
And so these fish are extremely nomadic. The wild fish that we have know where to go and what to do and where to be at what times. And I think that they're a great candidate for warm water protection down the road. And I hope that could happen.
Me too. I sincerely hope that happens.
Yeah. So we're at like 53 minutes that we've been yakking away at each other here.
Feels like we just started, buddy.
I know. So I don't know what else we should really talk about here.
I just want to, I do want to thank the Maine biologists that we've been working with. I've had a great time having them out in my boat.
I have too.
And I've had really good conversations
me too.
with the guys. And, you know, and I hope it continues.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because I'm really glad that you said that, because I agree with you. And I feel like Maine fly fisher people,
Yeah.
there's an undertone that
I'll agree without further explanation.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I've been guilty of it. We've all been guilty of it. Yeah. All of us have been. And where you say the state, the state this, the state that.
Yep.
And you just group everything that has to do with fisheries management into that, like, scope. It's the man.
The man gets beat down.
The man's out to get us.
Yeah.
and everybody wants to have the man look out for them and their needs. You know what I mean? And anyways, it has been an amazing experience for me to go out and work with all the biologists because they're all great guys.
Yep.
And
They all fish.
they all fish.
Yep.
And whether we disagree or not, like I after meeting all the people that we met with, I know that they don't have bad intentions of any kind at all. And like, so it's been really good. It's kind of like, and I hope that, I hope they feel the same way. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's been a great experience. I think we've all had a good time doing it, and we're getting, you know, we all want data. They want data. We want data. And then we can talk about the data.
I mean, I know how my spring trip went, and I know how we crushed it.
We did. It was
fun.
It was a lot of fun, and it was great to see the process of how they go about logging fish, scale sampling.
Yeah, no, that was real cool.
It was really neat to sample the river with them, and I'm looking forward to doing it again this spring.
Me too.
Yeah, it was good. I'm glad you brought that up because I think that you know, the hard part about this show that I don't want to go down is there can be a lot of negativity in regards to conservation and fisheries, and I hope that we can bring about informed conversations about it that are inclusive in nature and collaborative and where people find common ground. I don't want to just have the ego beat your chest kind of thing. We've all kind of been exposed to that a little bit, you know?
Nothing gets done when you do that.
It doesn't. It doesn't get done. And like, I just don't want to go down that route. And I hope that the ongoing conversations that we have about this hopefully can bring about some good, you know, and bring awareness. And, you know, maybe somebody else has a local water that they love and they're like, you know what, I'm going to see what I can do.
Yeah. That's, I mean, you guys out there get involved. I mean, I'm not a big organization guy, but go ahead, get involved with your local TU. They do a lot more than fish stocking programs, and you know
they do. And like, and even if that's not your thing, you know, like, because I'm a new TU member, and I was a TU member in the past, and then it wasn't my thing for a while, and we're back at it, and I'm really excited about the things that my local chapter is doing, but that's not everybody's thing. But that doesn't mean that you can't contact your local biologist, because guess what?
Yep.
They might be out sampling the local river that you love, and they need somebody to just hold a bucket.
Yeah, they need help. They do. In the like, many hands make light work, and these guys, especially in Maine here, these guys seem very, very welcoming for help, and you'll learn something.
You'll learn something. It's kind of really neat to see what comes out from under every little rock in the local river that you enjoy and love. And you know,
like, I didn't know that was
you're like, wow, there's like a ton of sculpins in this river. I guess maybe I need to fish some more sculpin imitations.
This is a 4-foot eel.
How did a cusk get in here? This, you know, but like, interesting. But the I mean, it's like electrofishing it's man intense. I mean, really, to do it good, you need a guy running the wand, you need 2 guys with nets and a guy with a bucket. So if you got just one unit going through a river, you really need 4 people. And, you know, that's hard to get that amount of manpower, you know.
And with those 4 people, you're not going to cover very much.
No. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of rivers, you know, we helped with the Crooked there. And how many units was out?
I believe we had 4 wands running. We had at least 3.
Yeah.
No, we had 4. 2 in the middle and 1 on each side.
That was a lot. Yeah. And we had we had crews of 3 to 4, right? Like with So I mean, there was a lot of people that was organized for that.
Yep.
And that was kind of eye opening for us too.
Yep.
Which was neat. We can get into that body of water on another episode if we want to. Yeah. No secrets shared, but you know, like
it's where I cut my teeth.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. John has a great story on
My first salmon. Or-
How he got hooked on fly fishing. Yeah. Took a salmon to the chest.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. My very first fish. I took a salmon to the chest.
We'll get into that on another episode. But anyways, yeah. So that's kind of our discussion. I hope that it was useful. Like I said, bear with us. We're mastering this mixing board.
Yeah, I think Alex likes it too much.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But yeah, so we're gonna come to you guys. I've decided now officially I'm gonna try to do an episode every week. So this one will be coming out. This is episode 2, and then you'll be able to plan a week further from that, and there will be episode 3. And I don't know what's coming yet. If we'll have another guest, if it's gonna be Johnny and I don't know yet. But we're gonna keep you guys, waiting. We won't tell you. We'll just show up and you'll find out. So, but yeah, thanks, John.
Hey, you're welcome. I think we did pretty good.
I think we did. I mean, I was like,
One take.
Yeah, one take. We'll see how it goes. We're probably going to listen to it and think that we sound terrible.
Yeah, that's probably the thing not to do is like just don't listen to it.
Yeah, I'm just going to slap it on and just put it there. But anyways, all right, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate you.